A couple days ago, a friend of mine, Matt, came over. You might have met him before. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, and we had a little play date. And he came over, and we got to talking. We got to yapping a little bit, blabbering about really evil companies. I think it started because we were going through, Meta. And as we were going over, Meta and all of their shadiness, it naturally led to, TikTok and Twitter and Amazon, the whole kit and caboodle. And then we ended up just diving down the rabbit hole of just discussing, evil companies in general. So I just fired on the OBS and started recording the conversation. This is really just the stream of consciousness and ranting about bad companies and learning about how some companies we knew were bad were even worse than we thought. And I just decided, hey, maybe you'd find it interesting. Or maybe you just want to hear about some shitty companies. So here's two stupid assholes talking about some of the evil corporations in the world. So there's some companies I know are evil, but I can't put my finger on why, like BlackRock.
Right.
And Blackstone.
Exactly.
And any, Black plus
one of the
geode is bad.
They're always, it almost feels like they tried to make the evilest company.
Yeah, so what is BlackRock? They're an investment group, right?
Exactly, and that's everybody's. There's also BlackRock Bar and Grill. They're fine.
Evil.
I don't like their food. They're fine.
And then, so BlackRock
investing.
They own everything, right?
Just everything in the world. You should look. Yeah, I'll get the size of their investment fund.
Yeah, and then Blackstone is, what do they do?
I don't know what Blackstone is.
Okay, that's massage stones.
Yep.
Blackstone's definitely a company. Oh, I typed in Backstone. I see what went wrong. Okay. Yeah.
There you go, Blackstone.
And it's an investment management company.
And type in who owns Blackstone. I bet it's BlackRock.
Oh, no. The geodes go deep. Stephen A. Schwarzman.
Blackstone.
Over 1.1 trillion in assets.
Under management. All right, now let's see. BlackRock assets. BlackRock has 10.01 trillion in assets under management.
Oh, wow. Now, what about Rupert Murdoch? He's not a company. Well, he is kind of a company.
He's not a company, right?
Well, he has every company. He is the media mogul. So every news agency is Murdoch backed. Well, he looks like Dana Carvey in Master of Disguise when he's trying to get into the Turtle Club.
You're absolutely right. Just older.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I've always thought, Rupert Murdoch is the most evil sounding name possible.
Did you see it in the Super Bowl? They gave him a shout out.
I did.
They said shout out Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah. I forget why.
He probably owns the broadcasting rights.
Oh, that's right.
He owns anything that hits the television screen. Yep. Murdoch's got his little winky in.
Oh, he founded Fox.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure you know the show Succession.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I know it.
There we go. I'm pretty sure the main guy in Succession is based on Rupert Murdoch.
That makes sense.
I think if you're in media, you're evil.
Yeah.
If you own media corporations, you are evil.
I think that's fair. I feel like it's also only owned by 3 people. Now, I think the most obvious one that we can definitely
I was going to say, do we want to put our number 1 out there?
Yeah, United Healthcare?
It's UHC.
Yeah. Well, the good news is, checking UHC's website, they claim that they approve and pay 90% of all medical claims.
How is that not just false advertising?
It's just
we know it's not true.
It's just legitimately a blatant lie. It's so good.
Greedy and evil.
Needlessly evil too, outrageously, comically, cartoonishly evil.
Yes.
I think it's worth mentioning when we say United Healthcare, I'm talking more about even just general health insurance being the worst company in the world.
I think they are the worst
of the worst. Yeah,
but they're all terrible.
There's not a good health insurance provider.
Every other healthcare company probably loves UHC because they take all of the heat. That's also horrible. These are all bad.
Yeah, they're all not good. Burger King is actually going to be on the worst companies list. It's like the worst.
I can't put it as 2.
It wouldn't be 2. It'd be I'd put it in the top 20 just because the food is so almost inedibly bad that I think you have to give a special spot on a list of worst companies because they consistently have the worst possible food options.
All the time. And just to be clear, in our opinion.
Yeah, well, if we want to get factual, Long John Silver's probably worse than Burger King.
If we want to be factual. Boeing.
Oh,
We didn't
Boeing!
even get into This list is going to be so tough. I almost just want a bucket that we throw all the bad companies in.
Yeah.
Because I know UHC's up here.
It's in a
there.
different league, really. Boeing's a really good one because Boeing, not only are the planes not performing well and they just stranded astronauts in space on the
Yep.
Starliner for the last like fucking 14 months. What was supposed to be an 8-day mission has turned into like 300 days stranded on the ISS.
Just insane.
But like, where do you put them? Because like, no one's died as a result of the Boeing like corruption yet, aside from the whistleblowers that they're fucking piling corpses up.
But didn't people die in the plane crashes?
Yeah, but that wasn't Boeing's fault. The Max crashes, that was entirely Boeing's fault.
Right.
I just mean like recently.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, I mean Boeing does have tons of blood on
'Cause
its hands. I was just talking about like these recent plane crashes
Right.
aren't.
Those aren't them.
It's
no,
not
I
them.
agree. And we're nothing if not intellectual and can separate, our feelings.
Yeah.
But I know you've watched the same things back when, like, what happened to Boeing, where they were the golden
Yep.
standard.
If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going.
Exactly. And it was true. And
Mm-hmm.
it was when engineers ran the whole company. They sold it. Suits took over for the engineers.
Yep.
Of course, the first thing they should cut to save money is quality testing and quality assurance.
Yep, and they have so many protocols that they just don't follow anymore.
And it all just went to shit. But no, you are right. The most recent ones aren't really.
Not Boeing's fault per se.
Yeah.
But the Max crashes,
Those were them.
that was entirely Boeing.
Yeah.
They've got to be up there with like the worst companies. I don't know where we'd put it, like in the top
I don't
5.
either. This is another interesting one. I feel like we're getting all the data out there, and then we'll arrange the puzzle. Monsanto,
What's that?
which they are the pesticide company.
Yeah, they're agrochemical, agricultural, biotech.
Yes, and I've always heard what needs to be said, except how are they not the number one worst company? Formed at the start of the last century, they are still going strong even after producing PCBs and dioxin and greatly affecting war veterans and Vietnamese children. They had to radically transform to survive towards the end of the century. You start to see that justice must be a joke. No, that doesn't say what it is.
Apparently, they manufactured Agent Orange.
Oh!
Holy!
Yeah. Roundup.
Did you see it? I didn't see it. Oh, yeah.
Because Roundup, you know how like people will be like, coffee causes cancer. Like here's a few, but it's very.
It's loose. It's,
right. There's
yeah.
also, Roundup is one of the products I found where they're like, this is cancer. Like they've created cancer in a can. Is what I've essentially read.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
This also says, oh yeah, there we go. It's got glyphosate in it. What I was reading was that Monsanto knew it caused cancer and also falsified reports to hide it. They're a corporation known to falsify reports in order to obtain approval for whatever they are currently manufacturing. They did this with Agent Orange and PCBs, so it can evidently be surmised that they probably did this with the GMO reports they submitted to the FDA.
I don't know this company very well. They seem bad.
Yeah.
They seem like jerks.
They do.
Agent Orange?
Yep.
Not a fan.
Not great. Not
I didn't,
my favorite.
Didn't like it. I did get reminded. Nestle.
I was just about to say that.
Nestle.
I was literally about to say Monsanto reminded me of Nestle.
They have to be in the top 3. It is still great. But do you remember like the baby formula controversy for Nestle? Careful examination of Nestle's marketing behavior shows that Nestle entry into low and middle income formula markets caused 212,000 infant deaths per year among mothers without clean water access at the peak of the Nestle controversy of 1981. Well, Nestle also had their infamous statement, "Water is not a human right." Nestle was accused of providing free or low-cost supplies of infant formula in hospitals and maternity centers, often dispensed by milk nurses, which were salesmen dressed in nurse uniforms, to encourage new mothers to use infant formula. Formula use among newborns increased the risk that mothers release prolactin-inhibiting hormones, which signal milk production to shut down, creating a future dependence on breast milk substitutes. By the 60s, Nestle already viewed marketing of formula in hospitals as a strategic approach to encouraging adoption of infant formula, as seen in an excerpt from its 1969 annual report. So Shein's on here. I don't know enough about Shein, but
Oh, the clothing company?
Temu.
Oh.
Temu's gotta make the list.
Just reminded me, though.
Comcast.
The fucking internet companies.
Yeah,
Nothing's
ISPs.
good. FTX is crazy because clearly it's a horrible company. But it's like, it's almost laughably bad. In a way. Like, I guess not for all of the people who lost all of their money in it.
Oh, easy one. Ticketmaster. That's another really easy one.
That is. And this is what I'm meaning by buckets, because top bucket you've got UHC, Monsanto, Nestle, the people who are killing
Like
people
actively
and don't
killing
care.
people, yeah.
And then the next bucket is like, you guys fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like, you are greedy as all
It's just,
get out.
it's a scam, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge racket where Ticketmaster owns Live Nation, and like Ticketmaster has all the fees and shit.
Yep.
They're still in a legal battle right now, which is a
With
pretty
who? Like which side?
god. Like they're in just like a huge legal battle. They had a really cool statement that I'm struggling to remember. They said something to the effect of, "We're saving you money." In the end or something. Let me look it up. Ticketmaster argued that competition would cost fans more money in their antitrust lawsuit.
Oh. Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah, usually when there's competition, I mean,
Yeah.
the consumers are the ones that are hurt.
They compete to drive price up
Yeah,
faster.
exactly. That's economics 101. With Ticketmaster having monopoly, now they have complete control to look out for your best
You
interests.
know how low they can make those prices if they wanted to?
Yeah, and they are.
Yeah, they're doing it. Purdue Pharmaceuticals. They are the ones behind the Oxy crisis.
How so?
They were the ones who pushed Oxy on all doctors, said it wasn't dangerous at all, lied about everything.
Last month, Attorney General Ken Paxton secured $7.4 billion settlement with Purdue Pharma and Sackler family for the role in the opioid epidemic.
That's wild. They clearly knew, and the fact that nobody's gone to jail is disgusting.
Yeah, I looked up the Sacklers' awful last name, by the way.
You know who played him in one of the Netflix shows?
Huh.
Matthew Broderick.
Oh, God. He was on our Worst Celebrities list. He makes a comeback. For those that don't know why we dislike Matthew Broderick and why he made the bad celebrities tier list, he killed a woman from drunk driving. Well, it was a woman and her daughter, if I remember right. The 1987 car crash, she crossed the wrong lane, collided head-on with another car. The driver, Anna Gallagher, and her mother, Margaret Doherty, were killed instantly. He got charged $100 for the careless driving practices.
Because then you've got Amazon who's like, you can't pee.
Yeah.
So there's all these different categories of bad, essentially.
Bank of America is one that's always going to be on the list. I feel like that one's also pretty obvious.
I feel like there's big industry sections too, like banks in general, healthcare in general.
Lockheed Martin.
I mean, they're...
Nintendo. The way... That one should be pretty clear. I don't like Nintendo.
The way they handle...
Everything. They shit on the community. They have the most anti-consumer, archaic practices. There's Ubisoft, because they're absolutely in the shitter.
Yeah,
like
and I think there's a lot of these gaming companies. That's why I think I'm saying it's our list, not the objective list.
Yeah.
Because I would put a lot of these gaming companies on there in my mind.
But they also just wouldn't be anywhere in the same ballpark as like,
a UHC.
Yeah, as a...
Exactly.
Or a Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, we've got UHC, Lockheed Martin, Nintendo, Burger King. There's just so many bad companies. So how do we narrow this down to 10? And how do you want to?
I don't know. I don't think we need to. We can just be ranting about shitty companies.
This isn't even a list at this point.
It's
We're
just
just talking about the worst companies.
Yeah. I think we know which the worst in the world is, though. It's got to be health insurance, right?
It has to be
health
insurance. I feel like
insurance.
there's no world in which it's not. Like, our top buckets are health insurance, pharmaceuticals. I'm trying to think of how I would encompass, like, Monsanto and Nestle.
While you think about that, I'm gonna go to a special bucket and put some poop in it. I'll be right back. What'd you find?
So I was reading about this company, Cargill.
Oh yeah, Cargill. It's pronounced Cargill.
Oh, it's French. They're the second largest privately owned company in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
From what I read, they're bad.
Yep.
But doesn't seem like, I don't think they complete. My whole thing was like people died from salmonella, E. coli, all this stuff. Let me show you one thing though. But it's not like they created Agent Orange, which I think precludes them from that. Read this. I said this sounds like fucking Hydra.
We are the flour in your bread, the wheat in your noodles, the salt on your fries, the corn in your tortillas, the chocolate in your dessert, the sweetener in your soft drink. We are the oil in your salad dressing and the beef, pork, or chicken you eat for dinner. We are the cotton in your clothing, the backing on your carpet, and the fertilizer in your field.
It feels like a threat.
It feels like what Chucky Finster's mom wrote him before she died.
That's such a different way to look at it.
Wait, do you remember her note?
No.
I'm the wind against your hair,
Oh no.
the flower in your garden.
So I think Cargill, I don't know enough. I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm just saying I don't know enough to put them on my list.
Yeah, I've never even heard of Cargill,
Me
but
either.
it says they're destroying the planet, so it looks like big deforestation.
Gotcha. All right, not good.
So not good.
You know what? Just because this stuff says it, we'll put them on there. Put them at the bottom. Cargill's there.
They're there. They made it.
So would you say above all else is healthcare?
Yep,
I think that's my number one by a landslide.
for sure. I think so as well.
I think the category of doing really bad things and knowing that you're doing it, and once again people are dying, but just not to the same level as like a UHC who's just denying sick people help.
Yeah, so that'd be pharma, the Purdue
Yep.
Pharma,
Purdue Pharma.
Nestle.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think... I think there's a lot we missed, for sure.
We can keep digging through.
No, we don't need to. I feel like there's just so many it'd be hard to pinpoint. Like, I think there's so many that are obvious. Like Apple,
Yeah, and that's the human rights violations, I feel
Yeah.
like, which is Amazon maybe towards the top of that. But once you get into that, it's all of them. It's Apple, it's Nike, it's every clothing manufacturer, 90% of clothing manufacturers. Like,
we didn't even think about cigarettes. Cigarettes is it's so easy. But
this is another category in my head.
does that make them evil though? Because you smoke it and you know it's bad for you. I think they're probably more
like, I think they almost go along with an Exxon in my head, because the amount of money and campaigning they do, at least back then, to convince you they're not bad.
That's true. They used to do that.
And then I think it's all malicious negligence, where you go, I know this is bad, but it makes me money, so I'm going to do everything in my power to keep making this money.
Yeah.
BlackRock's on there.
Pornhub, porn in general.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, see, I know. I thought we were doing worse, not best.
What is this one?
I don't know. Try pulling it up. I thought that was... Is that Titleist?
The worst golf balls
golf
I've ever had.
Oh, God. Is that just England?
I think that's a car brand. I think we hit the good ones.
I think we've hit the good ones as well.
I don't think there's any like glaring behemoth we missed or any.
No, we can finish off with our most hated companies, which is Burger King.
Naturally. Artesian builds.
Defunct companies.
Yes.
You happy with that list?
I'm happy with that list. Good work.
And then,
Good work today. I stream often, and boy howdy do I put on an exquisite show if I do say so myself, but don't just take my word for it, ask everyone that shows up. When you come to my streams, you get to see me without my makeup on. You get me raw. You get to hear me pee when nature calls. And you get to hear me rant. And one of the things I love to rant about is how much insurance is a scam. In particular, health insurance. Surprise, surprise. My feelings on it are no secret. I've screamed it from the mountaintops for a couple years now. I think I've only made like 1 or 2 videos on it, but stream regulars are probably tired of hearing me bitch about it. But can't help it. I think it is one of the most diabolical, corrupt, evil industries that operates in this country right now. It is deplorable. I think it is a Schmeckeldorfing goblin that's taking people's money and eating their ass, waiting for them to die. You pay health insurance providers for years, and then when you need them, you ask them to help with something major. They do everything in their power to not do that. Their job, their goal, and they even use AI now to help with this, is to deny these claims. That's where they make their bread and butter. You pay them for one purpose, and their goal is to find ways of not doing the one thing they're designed for. It's like if you bought a washing machine that only sometimes decides it'll wash your clothes, but it picks and chooses which ones you're allowed to wash inside of it. It's so stupid. But the reason I'm talking about this is because I am somehow still surprised at the depravity of this industry. United Healthcare just threatened legal action against a doctor who recently went viral when she was talking about how United Healthcare pulled her out of an active operation in order to ask her if an overnight stay was really necessary. I'll go ahead and play that clip before we dive into this threat from United Healthcare.
I just did 2 bilateral deeps and 2 bilateral tissue expanders for patients. And I've never had this happen before, but during the second deep, I got a phone call into the operating room saying that United Healthcare wanted me to call them about one of the patients who was having surgery today, who was actually asleep having surgery. And, said I had to call right now. So I scrubbed out of my case and I called United Healthcare, and the gentleman said he needed some information about her, wanted to know her diagnosis and whether her inpatient stay should be justified. And I was like, do you understand that she's asleep right now? And she has breast cancer. And the gentleman said, actually, I don't. That's a different department that would know that information. And I was like, well, she does need to stay overnight tonight. And you have all the information with you because I got approval for this surgery. And I need to go back and be with my patient now. But yeah, it's out of control.
Out of control doesn't even begin to describe it. My moose knuckle is out of control when I slip into a pair of joggers. This is beyond out of control. This is just disgusting. It's just disgusting. Health insurance companies are at their happiest when you are at your worst. When they deny a claim and get to save a little bit of money there, pinch a few pennies, avoiding doing the thing you pay them for, they pop champagne over your cold fucking corpse. And don't worry, you'll go to Valhalla knowing that at least United Healthcare made a little extra money at the bottom line. In a just world, this shit would be outlawed. It's just unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. So, she's describing United Healthcare apparently pulling her out of a procedure in order to check with her if this is something that's actually justified. Yeah, asshole, it is justified, I would think. And also, now you are putting the patient at risk, interrupting an active procedure. It's craziness. It's craziness. Just actually flabbergasted by this story. I'm spitting. I don't know if you could see that. It was a water fountain of spit there. So much saliva. Point is, this doctor was in the middle of a procedure, and United Healthcare made her stop so that way they could see if they could find a way of denying this claim, which eventually they did, by the way. They did deny that claim, allegedly. That claim, it did get denied. Shocker from United Healthcare, the health insurance company with the most denied claims in the nation. Also, now that there's this prevalence of AI to help deny claims, they're getting even more efficient with it, something I'm sure they're very proud of. It's unbelievable. I've already talked about that video quite a bit on stream, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it. You can see the lunacy. You can, with your own peepers, your own functioning frontal lobe, you can watch what the doctor's saying there and be pretty outraged by it. justifiably so. Now, United Healthcare is slapping back saying that it's a load of hooey. This is all just dirty barnacles. It's a false claim, and the doctor's spreading misinformation, and so they're threatening her with a lawsuit about it. We're going to go through that because, United Healthcare doesn't really have the best reputation when it comes to telling the truth. And it's just a shocking move from them to play this hardball here in the wake of everything they've been going through. Their CEO got banished to the Shadow Realm not that long ago, and people are still celebrating that. And the company, instead of trying to take that as a message of wow, people hate us for some reason, maybe we should reflect and see what we can do to be better, they're instead being worse. They are actively being worse. It's like they dislike that people don't like them, so they're trying to give them even more reasons to hate them. Oh, you guys already don't like us? Well, fuck it, we're gonna stop pretending to care. It's scorched earth now, we're not paying for shit. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if United Healthcare initiates a new protocol where they start stationing agents at every hospital in order to monitor everything and just deny shit on the spot. Nope. I wrote this down on the clipboard. It's only 2 broken legs. The morphine will not be covered by us. Unnecessary, not justified. And then going into every surgical procedure. Stop everything! Halt! Halt! We're denying this one. This surgery is this is frivolous. It's a frivolous surgery. The patient is more than capable of living his life without a liver or a kidney. So why are we doing this transplant? This is ridiculous. Denied. He's faking it. Anyway, though, let's dive back into the meat and focus on what the actual topic is here today. So that post came from a surgeon, Elizabeth Potter. It blew up on TikTok and Instagram, and now UHC, they're pouting. They're really upset. So they're accusing her of libel, and also there were some threats of legal retaliation if she didn't comply, which was taking the videos down and issuing a public apology. They wanted her to grovel at their feet, kiss their little tootsies, and basically say, I was wrong about everything. They accused her of knowingly sharing misinformation and also hosting threats against the company's executives because people in the comments were obviously making references to the assassination. Your claims are false. You clearly know they are false. You falsely laid the blame for your office's error on United Healthcare publicly, unleashing a firestorm of dangerous misinformation. We expect you to promptly correct this publicly by removing your videos and posting a public apology. The cease and desist has been reported by Bloomberg. Also, United Healthcare hired the preeminent defamation law firm Claire Locke, which has a really impressive resume in defamation cases. Hey, big fuck you to Claire Locke. You should deny this one. Of course they're not going to. They're going to try and hose United Healthcare for all they're worth in this defamation case that they're mounting against a surgeon who is just spreading the word about how fucking corrupt this company is. Now, she did post on her Instagram saying, I recently shared a video after I was asked to call United Healthcare from the operating room to answer administrative questions about the patient who was having surgery to treat breast cancer. Despite my efforts, they denied her stay. Wow. What saints over there at UHC really looking after the care of their clients. That's, wow, man. The benevolent gods over at UHC. We are so lucky that we get to suckle their bosom, and they take care of us. They help us in our time of need. That's so lovely. Denied her stay. That's so fucking par for the course for this company. I spoke out because this has simply gone too far. I'm sharing United Healthcare's letter to me in its entirety. I'll let it speak for itself. My words were true and the situation was absurd. I followed all safety protocol and my patient was with my co-surgeon who continued operating. I had requested an overnight stay for medical reasons. This was not an error on my part. I also think most normal, rational people would also think that probably an overnight stay after a very serious breast cancer surgery operation makes sense. That tracks. That doesn't seem like they're trying to get one over on United Healthcare over there. I feel like that's definitely something that's super justified, but hey, United Healthcare, they've got AI now helping them out to deny these claims. They're really good at this shit now. The gaslighting and harassment in the letter which United sent me has not worked to do anything other than strengthen my resolve. I will continue to speak honestly, clearly, and plainly about the state of healthcare in the United States of America. That's great news that she's not folding to this intimidation. I really hope this goes her way. I believe her story. And do you know why? Because there are thousands of horror stories with United Healthcare. Ask anybody on the street if they've had a positive experience with their healthcare provider. I would imagine you'd be hard-pressed to find a single, even lukewarm response, like, oh, it was okay, I guess. No, it's almost always entirely negative with these companies, and United Healthcare is legitimately, statistically, provably the worst one. They have the most denied claims. If you gathered every grain of sand on planet Earth and piled it all together, it probably wouldn't even amount to the amount of denied claims United Healthcare is responsible for at this point. It's just out of control. Completely out of control. So yeah, I just had to rant about this again. I could not believe this when Matt sent it to me, that United Healthcare has the fucking chutzpah to threaten this surgeon after she spoke about her experience with an absurd situation with this company. Unbelievable. That's about it. So yeah. Right now, there is the wackiest legal battle I've ever learned about going on in the shadows. There's a secret war between major food brands and the FDA, mainly cereal producers like General Mills and Kellogg's, because the FDA is proposing new guidelines on the term healthy when it relates to things like their cereal. And under these new potential guidelines, their cereals would have to erase that term from their marketing. And they're not too happy about it. They're wiggling their fingers saying, no, 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 we have a First Amendment right to free speech, which they have been using for years to effectively lie and mislead their customers into thinking that their cereals aren't bad for them. Free speech is a beautiful and sacred, wonderful thing that plays no role in this corporate greed and false advertisement. I think it should be obvious that corporations can't just make shit up and make any claims they want to, just pull random, like, nonsense claims out of their ass for their products in order to sell it. Like, there needs to be some truth to the claims. Like, this is not a free speech issue. This is literally just bad business practice and fucking lying. Alleged lying. I want to make it clear, alleged. General Mills and Kellogg's have been fucking shaking their fists and wiggling in anger at this whole situation. I don't want them to get mad at me, too. Alleged. Take a peek at this puppy. Fruity Pebbles and Lucky Charms threaten to block healthy food labeling guidelines in court, saying it limits their free speech. The proposed FDA rule mandates that foods labeled as healthy must contain a major food group such as dairy, fruits, or whole grains, and must fit certain limits on saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. The rule limits cereals, for example, to no more than 2.5 grams of sugar per serving in order to be labeled healthy. A restriction food manufacturers claim would exclude over 95% of ready-to-eat cereals. Holy shit, yes. What? Which is great. That is good news. That's huge. It's about fucking time. I couldn't tell you the amount of people that for some reason are brainwashed into believing these fucking labels that their goddamn Frosted Flakes or whatever are healthy for them. It's nuts. That is long overdue. Among the most vocal food companies are producers of high-sugar cereals which are largely marketed to children and have been criticized as a driver of the obesity epidemic in America. Because they are. In a joint filing made last month, the largest cereal producers in the country, General Mills, Kellogg's, and Post Consumer Brands, decried the proposed nutritional criteria and threatened to file a lawsuit challenging the guidelines as a violation of corporate free speech rights. You absolute slimy worms. Corporate free speech rights to lie to consumers. We have a right to say whatever we want to sell our product. And how dare you try and strip that from us, even though it's a blatant lie. Most cereal, like Captain Crunch, Frosted Flakes, Lucky Charms, Fruity Pebbles, are not healthy. And that it's a complete fucking sham and a joke that some of those boxes have that term plastered on there. In the cereal industry, the word healthy has less meaning than the word literally. It is completely devalued because they've been able to skirt these guidelines and get away with labeling things like fucking Lucky Charms as healthy when it's not. It's there for one purpose and one purpose only: to mislead customers into thinking that what they're purchasing isn't bad for them. Even though it's nothing but a giant fucking sugar bomb. You're purchasing just a ton of sugar. And for some reason, they've been able to call it healthy for a long time now. It's very deceptive. It's literally just false advertisement. And I don't think that's slanderous to say. I don't know if General Mills and Kellogg's are watching this, but I don't think that's slanderous. There is tons and tons of research to indicate the role that high sugar shit like cereal plays a massive role in the obesity epidemic that America's been experiencing for quite some time now. And finally, the FDA is doing something worthwhile of stepping in and saying, it's about time we restrict this a little bit more. You can't just slap healthy on anything you want to willy-nilly. We're going to stop being so loosey-goosey with healthy. From now on, it's going to need to adhere to stricter guidelines. I'm actually surprised they didn't double down. Instead of calling their foods healthy, I'm surprised they didn't try and say, like, doctor recommended Cinnamon Toast Crunch, number one pediatrician recommended Fruity Pebbles. Like, really go hog wild on trying to mislead people into thinking it's good for you. They did go hard on fortified for a while, saying it's fortified with crucial vitamins and minerals and all that. But I feel like they could have gone even more hog wild with it. What about protein cereals that cost like $8 a box? You're getting into these really fringe cereals I don't know about. I can't tell you which are healthy and what aren't of the ones you're listing. All I'm saying is I'm agreeing that 95% of these cereals would absolutely be wiped from the healthy label because they're not. Like, they're straight up not. The sugar that's present there isn't like natural sugars either most of the time. So you can't even make it the argument that, like, oh no, but what about the cereal with 30 grams of sugar but it's all healthy sugars? Because that's never the case. The rule, if finalized in its present form, the companies wrote, would be open to legal challenge in that it violates the First Amendment by prohibiting truthful, non-misleading claims in an unjustified manner and also exceeds FDA's statutory authority in several ways. It's so frightening that corporations can bully an organization whose sole goal should be the safety of the products that we consume on a daily basis. Prohibiting truthful, non-misleading claims, but that is the exact opposite of what these claims are. Slapping healthy on Fruity Pebbles is an affront to God. The organization contend that the healthy labeling requirements are an unconstitutional overreach of government power. Food companies, the Washington Legal Foundation argued, have constitutionally protected commercial speech rights covering their ability to use the term healthy to describe their added sugar products. This is terrifying. This is just scary. What the fuck? Nobody should want a world where corporations can pull claims out of their ass without ever having to prove them or verify their authenticity or ensure that the claims are truthful. That is a horrifying world. They could literally be boxing up poison and selling it to you with a smile on their face and with the word healthy slapped on the box, and nothing would be done about it. They are fighting tooth and nail to defend their right to literally fucking lie to customers about how healthy their foods are. They are not, by any stretch of imagination, by any definition, healthy. And yet they've been able to get away with using that term for so long that they refuse to let it go. They become so accustomed to lying to their consumers that they are now throwing this massive public hissy fit, this legal battle. The FDA, the Washington Legal Foundation, wrote in its brief, cannot explain why consumers cannot make their own healthy decisions based on nutritional labeling data. Rather, it seeks to limit the food company's speech. Oh my god, it's like listening to someone cry victim on Twitter, but from a corporation. What are you talking about, man? You're just blatantly lying on your products. Obesity's on like an absolute astronomical come up, and you're slapping healthy on some of the foods that are a big contributor of it. What are you talking about? The group does not disclose its donors and did not respond to a request for comment. In previous years, the Corn Refiners Association, a lobby group that represents the high fructose corn syrup industry, has disclosed financial ties to the Washington Legal Foundation. Can't believe that. Drug companies including Purdue Pharma, the makers of OxyContin, have used the Washington Legal Foundation to challenge government rules and establish legal precedent to reduce the ability for prosecutors to seek criminal charges for drug company executives. You love a story with some heroes you can root for, like the Washington Legal Foundation fighting for the little guys, like drug company executives. The joint filing from cereal manufacturers not only scorn the labeling rules, but also argue that sugary cereals pose no health risks and are in fact beneficial to society and childhood health. Love that. What a great claim. The company stated that they view the extremely strict guidelines as alarming because cereal is one of the most affordable, nutrient-dense breakfast choices a person, adult, or child can make with a wide range of options to suit different cultures, preferences, and tastes. Cereals, the companies claimed, are already recognized for nutritional benefits, given their inclusion in a range of federal programs that serve the nation's vulnerable populations, such as the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, and the National School Lunch Program. This is so foul. It's candy in the morning. It is literally candy in the morning. And yet they're here with a straight face saying that it's nutrient dense. Well, it is one of the most nutrient dense breakfast choices a person, adult, or child can make. And saying that it poses no health risks and is actually beneficial to society and childhood health. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. Next, they're going to argue nutritional facts are unconstitutional. Yeah, we shouldn't have to say what's in our cereals. We shouldn't have to say what's in our food. It's to protect our right to privacy. Oh man, this is so fucked. How does this just keep getting worse? The company's charged that cereal delivers on nutrition when eaten alone, but when consumed as part of a breakfast, it elevates the nutrition further, with cereal eaters exhibiting an overall higher diet quality. As evidence, the filings cites a 2019 study conducted by in-house researchers employed by General Mills, the maker of Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Trix, among other brands. They're doing it again, right in front of our face. Do you guys remember, and I've talked about it a lot, but some of you might also remember, there was a period of time, not that long ago, like 25, 30-ish years ago, where the entire America, all of America, vilified fat. They said the fat in our food is making us fat. This is why we're getting obese, because of fat in our food. And sugar was actually looked at as the good guy. Those studies were paid for by companies like this that were trying to placate their responsibility for the contribution they played to the obesity epidemic and put all of it on top of fat. And they're doing it again right here in 2019. Trying to make arguments that eating cereal actually helps eaters exhibit an overall higher diet quality, I guess. That's so crazy. Oh! The agency, they wrote, should recognize the beneficial role of sugar. Sugar plays a role in foods beyond palatability. It controls water activity, creates texture, adds bulk, and also contributes to flavor complexity. We are literally going back in time. Literally going back in time. They're trying to make sugar a hero again. Sugar is actually really good for you. It is healthy to eat 30 grams of sugar in the morning with our cereal. Independent research, however, have found that diets high in processed foods and sugar intake are linked to obesity, diabetes, higher risk of stroke, obesity-related cancers, hypertension, and dental diseases. You don't say. You're telling me that the research that wasn't paid for by the actual sugar-producing cereal company said something totally different? That I just can't believe. Title's not clickbait. The biggest YouTube scam has just been revealed by a channel called Megalag. I highly recommend checking out the full video. This is extraordinary work. It was a multi-year investigation that he conducted, and his findings could make even Enron's accountants start sweating. It is gross how bad this company he investigated is. And it's a company you've all heard of. It's a company I have used for a long time. Honey. You know that free browser extension that's supposed to be going and getting you coupons at checkout to save you money on purchases? The one that has that playful piece of shit mascot that's just a diet Microsoft Clippy whom now I can't stand to look at after learning about how atrocious this scam is? Yeah, that honey. The one that's owned by PayPal that they purchased for fucking 4 billion clams. Turns out it's all a load of fish paste. Honey, more like phony, because it's all fraudulent. Now, of course, I can't say that from a legal perspective, but from a common sense perspective, after everything I've learned from the Megalag investigation, I think it's definitely fallen into the textbook definition of a scam. Though I imagine the lawyers aren't going to be too gung-ho about suing people that are labeling them a scam or calling them mean words, because they're probably too busy stretching out, cracking their knuckles, getting ready for the impending catastrophic class action lawsuit that's heading their way. And I mean that sincerely. I do think that this investigation from Megalag will lead to a huge class action lawsuit against Honey for all of the many millions of dollars that it has most likely cost a ton of people.
Honey hasn't just been scamming you, the consumer, they've also been stealing money from influencers, including the very ones they paid to promote their product. And I'm not just talking about a few bucks here. I believe the scam has likely cost content creators millions of dollars.
Honey's stretching everyone's holes here, both the consumer who downloads Honey as well as the creator that promoted the Honey. That does include me. I have worked with Honey in the past because I was an avid Honey user. It seemed like a pretty simple, effective product. It'd just find coupons at checkout to save a little money. I didn't think there was anything nefarious going on under the hood, but it turns out couldn't have been more wrong. Obviously, knowing what I know now about this company, I wish I never worked with them. I'm sorry for ever having promoted Honey. I clearly didn't know any of this was going on. Nobody did until Megalag's investigation. This was something that there wasn't even whispers of. He mentions in the video he had only found like one page where people even speculated on it with nothing concrete. So it wasn't until this multi-year investigation that any of this information came to light. It's a very sneaky, hidden mechanism that it uses to scam consumers and content creators. And what Megalag has put into the light here is extremely important. So he starts by demonstrating how it steals money from content creators, and it is probably the most creative way of fucking people I have seen since I first found browsers in high school.
Linus tells you about this free browser extension that saves you money online, you install it in 2 clicks, and boom, you have Honey. So you scroll down and find Linus's affiliate link to that product. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you click an affiliate link and buy something, the influencer who promoted the product earns a commission for referring you to that store. So you add the product to your cart, get to the checkout page, and hello, Honey says they found you 10 coupon codes. Sweet. You click apply discounts and Honey gets to work. But unfortunately, none of the coupon codes worked. Doesn't matter though, because as Honey has promised us for years, that means we know we've got the best deal. So you complete your purchase, you're happy, your new CPU's on the way, Linus is happy, he's getting his commission, everyone's happy, right?
Wrong. You'd be very wrong if you said everyone was happy there. This isn't a fucking fairy tale. This is big business, and everything's horrible. So, if you've never used Honey, that's how it works. When you're checking out, you'll have your little goofball pop up. He'll be like, oh geez, Rick, we gotta apply some coupons here to save you some blimflarkles. Click here to save some money, because we're gonna look for coupons. And so he's gonna go look for coupons at checkout to try and save you some money. Sometimes it'll find coupons, sometimes the mascot will wander in, soft cock in hand with nothing to offer you, saying, whoops-a-daisy, sorry, didn't find anything, is what it is. And that's the way she goes. Now, Megalag is talking about affiliate links. As he mentioned, if you use an affiliate link like in a description, and you purchase a product through that link, the creator that you click the link from will get some kind of commission off of that sale. Now, Honey does something very interesting with that whole process there.
After clicking Linus's affiliate link, you'll notice in the URL, there's a tracking tag labeled Short Circuit. That's a reference to one of Linus's YouTube channels. And this tracking tag is how Newegg knows who to pay a commission to. We can also see that this tracking tag has been saved on my browser in the form of a cookie that will expire in 30 days. That way, if we only decide to complete the purchase a few days later, Linus will still be credited the sale. So what happened when we got to the checkout page? Well, once Honey popped up, watch what happened to Linus's affiliate cookie after we clicked apply discounts. You see that? Honey came in, removed Linus's affiliate cookie, and replaced it with their own, claiming credit for the sale and pocketing the commission money for themselves. Yeah.
Never before has that sound effect, that like dramatic bass boom sound effect, been more appropriate. That is a huge deal. That is millions of dollars, no exaggeration, actually millions of dollars that PayPal Honey is making through stealing those commissions. By replacing the affiliate link with their own at the very end of checkout, without the consumer ever even knowing this happens, they're able to take the entire commission while the influencer or whoever that brought them there gets nothing. They get the whole pie, and the creator doesn't even get the fucking crust. It's so devious.
Now, if we quickly go back again, we can see what's causing this to happen. After clicking apply discounts, what you'll notice is that in the top left corner of your browser, Honey discreetly opens a small new tab, which acts like a simulated referral click, as if they were the ones to refer you to the website, even though you're already on the website and at the checkout page. Once that page is finished loading and has stuffed PayPal's affiliate cookie, the tab automatically closes, leaving you blissfully unaware that anything ever happened. It's very sneaky.
This isn't some kind of freak accident, it's not some kind of glitch or a ghost in the machine. Mr. Krabs isn't in the soul of Honey doing this without Honey themselves knowing about it. This is by design. They do this on purpose.
I'll reach out to Honey and ask them directly, and sure enough, they came back to me with the following. If Honey is activated and is the last program used while shopping on a site, it is likely Honey will receive credit for the purchase.
They are shockingly open about that. They almost seem jolly and proud. Well, hello there, salutations, tipping the fedora. Thanks for contacting us. Yeah, we're shitting on you. Big whoop, and you're welcome for it. Thanks so much. And he goes on to give like a real world example, so that way it's a little easier to understand how unacceptable this is. He even goes on to say that he can't see how it's anything less than fraud, and I agree. This seems like fraud. Megalag gives a real world example to demonstrate just how outrageous this whole thing is. He states, imagine that you're going to a department store buying a TV, there's a salesman and he sells you on the perfect TV. You now have that salesman's card that you take to the front with your TV, so that way the salesman can get the commission. But right when you're paying for the TV, a sleazy greaseball comes out of nowhere saying, wait just a minute, champ, hold on, let me see if I have any coupons. I got nothing. Alright, good luck. But before he leaves, he switches out that salesman's card with his own card. So now the salesman that actually sold you the TV gets nothing, whereas that guy who came in at the very end gets everything. That is how this concept works in the real world. That would be completely unacceptable. PayPal Honey did none of the work to get the consumer there, to get the purchase or anything, yet it takes the entire piece of the pie and leaves not even the crust behind. And in the real world, this, again, would be the equivalent of someone coming in at the last second like a jump scare, like, woo, here's a coupon. I'm kidding, we don't have any coupons, but I'm still going to take the whole commission. So then using some sleight of hand that would fool even Penn and Teller, he swaps out that salesman's card with his own, and the consumer doesn't know it, and the salesman that got swapped doesn't know it either. That's what PayPal Honey does. But here's the thing, even if it did find a coupon for the consumer at checkout, it still shouldn't be overriding the affiliates. It still shouldn't be stuffing that out. They did none of the work to get the consumer to the site or anything at all. They did nothing for the sale. They just came in at the very end and found a coupon. That's still bad that it would overwrite that. But it actually even gets worse. It'll do this even when it has no coupons to even search for.
Honey pops up right at the end of your purchasing journey, virtually guaranteeing they'll win that last click. They of course know this and do anything they can to get that last click, even when there's no coupon codes to offer. Which brings us to scenario 2. Honey Gold, which is now called PayPal Rewards. Here's how it works. When you get to the checkout and Honey Gold is available, Honey pops up and is essentially saying, hey you, consumer, click this button here so PayPal can claim the commission for the sale, and we'll share a portion of that commission money with you in the form of points. It's basically a lame cashback scheme. And it's genius because if there are no coupons to offer, but the store is participating in Honey Gold, it gives Honey another reason to get that last click.
He explained what last click was, and it's basically the last thing that you click is what's going to get the credit for the commission. And Honey is constantly fighting to be that last click by any means necessary. Come hell or high water, they will leave mangled corpses in the fucking streets if it means they can consistently get that last click on checkout. So this is one of its other mechanisms to get that last click, where you can activate rewards at the very end.
I decided to put Honey Gold to the test. So I looked for any website where Honey Gold was offered and found it on NordVPN. And no, this is not a sneaky sponsorship. So I signed up for NordVPN's affiliate program, which offers 40% commission on successful referrals. After getting approved into the program, I received a custom affiliate link for my YouTube channel. Using this link, I made 2 separate purchases. For the first, I activated Honey Gold, and sure enough, you can see my affiliate cookie was replaced with Honey's. And for the second, I didn't activate Honey Gold. As expected, I was awarded a $35 commission for the sale where Honey Gold wasn't activated, and received nothing when Honey Gold was activated. So how much of my stolen $35 commission did PayPal share as cash back with my Honey account, aka the consumer? Brace yourselves, 89 points, which is equivalent to 89 cents.
I knew it was going to be bad, but somehow that is even worse than I expected it to be. It gets the entire kit and caboodle of the commission, all 35 doubloons. It gets the spaghetti and the meatballs, and it gives you not even a morsel, not even a tiddlywink of it. 89 cents of the $35? Holy shit. Again, this is for doing nothing, by the way. It is doing nothing. It is doing this just to desperately try and get that last click so it can take the whole commission. And again, this isn't put front facing. People didn't even know this was going on until this investigation. It is so sneaky with this shit. It exists solely to steal, poach those affiliates, to take that commission on the back end. That's nuts. That's why I'm saying this will likely be a huge class action lawsuit. There is no telling how many millions of dollars they've been able to make quietly like this. Megalag demonstrated one. They got $35 from that. Like, that's a lot. Like, that is a big commission, really. Just think about that on a large scale. Megalag pulls up the numbers. Honey had been promoting on YouTube in particular to the tune of like 7.9 billion views worth of videos. They had like 5,000 or something like sponsored segments across so many different channels. 7.9 billion views. They have, what, 20 million users? Think about how much money they were pulling in from this scam. It's huge. Like, this is something that Bernie Madoff would roll over in his grave at with this fraud.
You click on their affiliate link and get to the checkout. But in this scenario, Honey knows it has nothing to offer. No coupon codes, no Honey Gold, yet it still pops up to announce absolutely nothing. Annoying as fuck. Naturally, you click the got it button to get rid of the annoying dancing coin, and whoa, what's that? PayPal takes the sale.
I couldn't help but just laugh at that one. That is cartoonishly evil. That is so scummy. So even if it has no coupons, it has no Honey Gold capabilities, it will still pop up on something totally unrelated through the affiliate link and just say like, hey, listen. We've got nothing to say. Sorry, pranked you. We got nothing. Go ahead and close us. Just go ahead and say got it. Get rid of us. Sorry. Just wanted to let you know we're here. And when you do that, it takes the sale. It still takes the whole commission because you interacted with it. It was your last click. It's unbelievable.
Why? Because fuck you, Mary, that's your commission. But wait, there's more. My personal favorite is when Honey has nothing to offer, so pops up offering you to check out with PayPal, even though the option is already available at the checkout page. And of course, if you click the checkout button, PayPal poaches the sale. Classy.
There is just no world where that isn't illegal, right? Like, there can't be a world where that can fly. That has to be something that this company would be run into the ground for. Like, I'm no lawyer. I didn't pass the bar. Shit, barely passed the SATs. But I would still say, using my tiny little noodle up here, my smooth brain, that's a big no-no. I think they're probably going to face some big repercussions for that now that this is starting to blow up and come to light. Now, in the next section of the video, Megalag goes on to talk about how he was checking into the Linus forums to see if anyone was talking about Honey, and he did find someone that was sounding the alarm quite a few years ago, but it just didn't get a lot of traction. And then in 2022, someone noticed that Linus wasn't working with Honey anymore, so they asked about it, and Linus Media Group representative came out and said, yeah, they didn't like the way that it interacted with the affiliate links, so they stopped working with them. And Megalag says that he was pretty disappointed that they weren't more vocal about that, because if they could have sounded the alarm about this whole scheme, there could have been some more damages that were prevented over the next couple of years, but they just kept it kind of hush for some reason. And that is very disappointing from Linus and the team for not talking about this if they knew it was going on. And then Megalag goes on to talk about, well, they did actually take a different coupon sponsor that does the same thing called Karma.
Essentially, if someone clicked on an affiliate link and then they use Honey and search for a deal, Honey will override that tracking link even if they don't find you a deal. That didn't jive with us, so we ended the partnership. They should have made more noise about this. But what's truly baffling to me is that after LMG ended their partnership with Honey, they then went ahead and partnered with a company called Karma Now, a coupon browser extension that literally engages in similar behavior.
As Megalag said, it's very telling just how deceptive this honey scam is when even a tech-focused company like LMG doesn't catch on to it for years. And it is baffling that even when they did catch on to it or were tipped off about it, they chose a different coupon sponsor that does like basically the same thing, it seems. That's so weird. That is so weird. Now the next part of the video showcases how honey scams you, the consumer. Now it's not only about the influencers getting all their affiliates commission stolen. Now Megalag shows you what honey does to fuck you in the face.
When I reached the checkout page, Honey would claim it couldn't find me any coupon codes. Yet when I searched manually, I found working codes with ease. And even when Honey did find me a code, I was often able to find another code of better value. Kind of strange, given their claim that,
well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is now a thing of the past.
Another oddity was that Honey would often only find me Honey branded coupon codes, such as Honey 5 or Honey 10. Why would a store only have Honey branded coupon codes? Kind of weird, right? But the biggest red flag was that when I tried submitting the better coupon codes I'd found, Honey wasn't adding them to their database.
Now this was not a case of Honey just not doing its job well, where it was missing a couple of coupons here and there that were slipping through the cracks, but it was still trying its best and it was still doing an admirable, noble attempt at finding you those best deal coupons. It wasn't doing its job at all. When Megalag would submit coupons to it, it wouldn't even take it into the database, and it was far more effective to just manually enter coupons because Honey wasn't finding them, and it was finding a lot of Honey coupons pretty often. All very peculiar, I would say.
It turns out that one of the key benefits for stores partnering with Honey is that they are given full control over which coupon codes go live on the platform, if any at all.
What would you say to any brand that is considered working with Honey but hasn't yet?
I would say missing out on converting customers. Like I said before, Gen Z is super discount savvy. You can't ignore the fact that they will hunt for like discount codes and they might find a better deal. With Honey, you can also control the discount code percentage, which means like they will potentially find a higher discount code on the internet. It literally lets you control like the customer journey, convert and control like the discount code percentage as well.
This is a podcast that Megalag found that seems to be focused on trying to drive more brands to work with Honey. So this is a brand that has worked with Honey talking about the benefits. One of them that she's very excited about is that with Honey, it helps discourage consumers from seeking out coupon codes, and with Honey, you can control which coupon codes are even getting shared in the first place. So let's say there's a 20% off coupon that does exist for this brand, but the brand doesn't really want it shared with everyone using Honey. Well, then it just doesn't. Honey won't share it if the brand doesn't want it to. It's one of the benefits of working with Honey. You won't have that 20% go out to the consumers. Maybe instead you'll give them a 5% through Honey, or none. Maybe you won't even let them share any of the coupons through Honey. So even if the coupons do exist, the brand may not want Honey to share it with consumers, so it won't. Which of course is counterintuitive to even owning Honey in the first place. The whole point is that it's supposed to find the best deals, the best coupons to use. But if the brands can say we don't want the best deals to be shared with them, then Honey will say, okay, that's fine. All right, that's okay. You got it, Chief. And it won't.
You have control over the content hosted on the Honey platform. So yes, even if Honey knows of a coupon code that offers say 20% off, but a partnering store tells them, hey, only share a 5% off coupon, then that's the only discount Honey will apply to your cart at the checkout page. I mean, holy shit. Honey wasn't finding you the best deals possible, they were intentionally withholding them from you for their own financial gain. If you partner with us and pay us an affiliate commission, we'll let you control which discount codes are shared on our platform. And we'll tell our consumers we scoured the internet and found them the best deal possible.
This is a scam Ed, Edd n Eddy wouldn't even pull for Jawbreakers. Every component of Honey is a fucking lie. Every single piece of Honey is exploitative. Every single one. So in this video, he talked about how it's scamming consumers as well as the influencers that have promoted it. And he teases that in part 2, there's an entirely new victim that is also getting fucked by honey. Megalag leads into the upcoming part by stating that in his experimenting and his investigation, he noticed there were times where honey worked extremely well to an almost unbelievable degree with discounts and deals that just made no sense with everything else he was finding, and sometimes it wasn't overwriting the affiliates. So it wasn't making sense how that discrepancy was happening with everything else he had learned. And then it clicked and he figured out what was going on. So that's what part 2 is going to focus on, and he has some interviews that he has at like a sizzler reel at the end. It's actually incomprehensible just how deep this rabbit hole goes. It really just seems like everything about PayPal Honey is fraudulent, just a full-blown scam. Like that's what it seems. I don't know how any of it could possibly be explained away or justified. I mean, shit, even when they were directly asked about it, they were like, yeah, hey, that is what it is. If honey's the last thing you click, yeah, we're taking the affiliate. Like, what? Honey is usually going to be the last thing that someone clicks if you have honey, because you might as well check if there's discounts. That's like the whole selling point of honey. But not only is it not actually finding you the best coupons, if it's even finding you coupons, it is then stealing the commission from the affiliate that got you there in the first place. So it's fucking everybody for doing nothing. And even when it is actually doing full-blown nothing, where it's on a site that doesn't have honey gold, it has no coupons, it will still pop up just to say nothing. It just goes, and then you click got it to get rid of it, and then it will still steal the commission. It is just crazy how scummy this is. I cannot imagine that what honey is doing and how it operates is legal. It can't be. It shouldn't be if it somehow is through loopholes. That is completely unacceptable. And Megalag's investigation is extraordinary. A huge thanks to Megalag for bringing all of this information to light. It's an incredible video. Again, I highly recommend you check out the full thing. There's going to be a link to it in the description of this one. I didn't even cover all of it. He has done an immaculate job with this investigation. This is up there with CoffeeZilla's best work. This is incredible. So huge thanks to Megalag for doing this. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya.
3 days ago, I made a video talking about Nintendo being an evil, soulless corporation, as well as out-of-touch, archaic, and just downright goofy for the way that they treat online content creators like criminals. Most recently, they issued 2 strikes to a YouTuber named PointCrow because he made videos on Breath of the Wild that featured modded content. And in the eyes of Nintendo, that is a sin more unforgivable than murder. So they threw the book at him. They were coming with the meat. They tried to give him the business. They issued 2 strikes, and it wasn't just modded content they targeted, by the way. They also just targeted other videos as well on other games. A lot of it did feature mods, but some of them were just vanilla gameplay videos that they absolutely had a conniption over. Nintendo for a long time has historically shown that they hate their fans and absolutely despise when people play their games or enjoy their games in ways that they didn't plan for or in ways that they don't approve of. So for PointCrow showing mods and having fun making content around mods, they, started screaming bah humbug and shaking their fist at the clouds, and then hired their legal team of assassins to do as much damage to him as possible. And if it was up to Nintendo, they probably would have publicly hung PointCrow to make an example out of him for daring to play their games in a way they didn't intend for people to play them. Would have had him face the fucking firing squad. The reason I'm even mentioning all of this before talking about today's story is because it's only been 3 days and Nintendo has already upped the ante on how evil they can be and how unbelievably cruel they are. Like, they made, I made a claim in that video that they don't listen to the community, they don't care about, negative reputation that they have or community backlash. They don't listen to it, they just kind of brush it off like it's just, little squeaking dog toys that they can just ignore. They don't care what the people are saying, they're not listening. But now, I'm almost convinced they must have heard what the community was saying about how evil they were and said, oh, you think that's bad? Well, watch this. And then they went even harder into degeneracy. So, what they've done, or what was revealed to the public today, is that they have completely ruined a man's life. And I'm not exaggerating. They are putting a man in debt to them for the rest of his life. There's a guy named Gary Bowser, and I'm not making this up. This isn't an alias. His name is fucking Gary Bowser. This sounds like fanfic. This sounds like the plot to the new Mario Bros. Movie. Like, it actually sounds made up, but it's real. Gary Bowser was working with a company called Team Executor. They were a hacking group that would
hack consoles for profit, and one of their biggest products was for Switch. They would basically jailbreak the Switch and they'd sell it and make money off it, and Gary Bowser was one of the prominent members of this team, allegedly. And a couple of years ago, he got caught, and he served 40 months in jail. His time in jail is coming to a conclusion now, and he's about to be released, but he's not off the hook yet. In fact, he's onto an even deeper hook. One that is going to be a life of servitude to Nintendo, because they are coming after him for an additional $10 million plus that he will have to pay back over the course of the rest of his life. He is going to have to forfeit 25 to 30% of his income every single month to Nintendo until he can pay off his $10 million plus debt to them, because he was part of that hacking group. That is a legitimate, life-ruining obligation that he will have to fulfill. Now, I want to make it clear, Gary Bowser is not a hero. He is not a saint. He was part of a group that was knowingly breaking the law for profit. He wasn't doing anything, just. He wasn't some, holy figure, breaking the rules for the benefit of everyone. They were very much in it just to make money off of all of this. He knew it was wrong, and what he's done is illegal. But I would argue spending 40 months in jail is punishment that fits the crime. I don't think they needed to add on an additional fucking generational debt that he and his grandkids wouldn't even be able to pay. Now, of course, his family's not going to be obligated to pick up the tab on the $10 million plus that he owes when he dies. But you get the point. The amount of money that Nintendo is forcing him to pay back over the course of his lifetime is one that could never be fulfilled by him and his kids working and his grandkids working and maybe even his great-grandkids working. It is an absurd punishment. Once again, I understand what he did was wrong and he's not a good guy, but this is just beyond excessive. Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's now face-fucking one random average guy in particular, forcing him to pay back a debt that he will never be able to repay. That $10 or $14 million means absolutely nothing to Nintendo. They wipe their ass with that amount of cash. Meanwhile, that means that Gary Bowser will never be able to live a normal life. He's going to be constantly paying this back forever. He's going to die with negative $10 million to his name. He won't even be able to afford a coffin to be buried in. It's just so far into the realm of lunacy here. And I actually imagine Nintendo celebrating this victory with handshakes all around and then laughing at the misery of Gary Bowser, who now has to send 25 to 30% of his income to this company every single month, where once again, I imagine once they receive those checks, they throw it right in the trash can and forget about it, because that amount of money is completely meaningless to them. Anyway, the situation is wild, but this is kind of the story, the general overview of it. I went over it more on stream, so I'll just play some clips of that. You honestly couldn't have scripted a better story, but it's real. And he had been sentenced to jail. Nintendo actually pursued action against him. He had made, I think, $300K from all of his, hacking. And he spent 40 months in jail, and he just got released. And now he's going to have to pay 25 to 30% of his income every single month to Nintendo for the rest of his life. And he will still not be able to ever pay that off. So long, Gary Bowser. Pretty sure chat made that joke when we talked about him 2 years ago, too. Which is still a fire joke, by the way. So he's paid $175 of his $10 million plus debt. So he's chipping away at it. He's making progress, ever so slightly. They wanted to send a message to other Switch hackers. It was a very significant moment for us. It's the purchase of video games that sustain Nintendo and the Nintendo ecosystem, and it is the games that make the people smile. It's for that reason that we do all we can to prevent games on Nintendo systems from being stolen. Heroes. You guys are such fucking noble saints. Thank you, Nintendo. Ensure that this man will never live his life without the fear of Nintendo down his neck. And then also, while you're at it, why not strike a few more YouTubers who make videos on your games? You guys love to make people smile. The company just got a fine. They didn't lock up and throw in the slammer every single person there. Meanwhile, Gary Bowser, he got the book thrown at him. He got the wood. It must have been something personal, because his last name is literally Bowser. I have no doubt Gary Bowser got into hacking the Switch specifically because his last name's Bowser, so he's like, fuck it, I'll do it. Might as well. I'll fulfill my namesake. 100%. Successfully argued that Bowser and Team Executor had caused Nintendo to suffer $65 million in losses due to console hacking software and devices used to play pirated Nintendo Switch games. I don't recall that. 65 million from the console hacking software? I gotta be honest with you, Chief, that seems like a bunch of baloney. I don't know why the number 300k keeps popping into my head. Maybe that's what Gary Bowser personally stood to gain, or personally gained from all of this. Or maybe I'm just way off the mark, but I really thought, or I vividly remember, like a report saying he had made like 300k from it all. But who knows? That could be wrong. So, okay, so that is what he made for himself. He himself made 300k. I saw someone on Twitter say that they would honestly fake their own death in this case. Dude needs a new dust filter for his Hoover Max Extract Pressure Pro Model 60. Fucking true. He's gonna need a Hoover Max ASAP. Does he even have a job? Well, he's just now getting out of prison after spending 40 months there. And he had a job in prison where he paid off $75 of his debt. So I would wager a guess he doesn't currently have a job. He's probably still hunting for one. Are you a gamer? Me too. And as a gamer, I have intricate, deep knowledge of all of our strengths and weaknesses. And no matter how hard you work, there will always be one weakness that I'm going to exploit right now. A single word that can induce vomiting in even the strongest, most seasoned of gaming barbarians. And that word is Fextralife. It was tough even getting that one out. If you've ever played a new game, you've probably Googled something about it, and among the first links on the search results is Fextralife. And it is such a scourge. Nobody goes to Fextralife on purpose. It's like falling into the back rooms. It's this thing that unfortunately happens all too often when a new game comes out and you want some information or a guide on it, so you just Google it, and you click the first link, and all of a sudden you accidentally just paid a visit to Fextralife. And it is such a tragic betrayal. It feels worse than finding out your partner's cheated on you. Fextralife is a wiki on pretty much anything new that's come out, but they also indulge in some very shady practices that I want to talk about today. But just to talk about the website itself, I and very many others are not huge fans of this site. I personally have never really found anything of value there. It really seems like Fextralife is so consumed with the idea of being first to guides on games that they don't bother to make sure that it's right or good. So if you go to like the Elden Ring section on Fextralife, and trust me, I did when the game was still new and I was looking things up, some of what they presented there was just legitimately wrong or incomplete. So you just get like halfway through and it's like, okay, what now? Oh, it's not here on Fextralife. Because it seems like all they care about is just being first and taking advantage of that wave of new people that are just really trying to get information. You would honestly have better luck finding quality guides in a YouTube comment section than on Fextralife. So I don't really like this site that much, but that's not even what we're here to talk about. It just being a subpar wiki site isn't exactly the most interesting topic. I'd like to speak about the slimier, greasier side of this organization, because they're no stranger to scandals here. They see controversy and they fucking tap dance on it. They go a bit wacko mode. They have, for many years, been accused of certain things on Reddit, the land of the updoots, most recently with Baldur's Gate 3. They have actually just been blacklisted from a subreddit called Baldur's Gate 3 Builds because they were suspected of vote manipulation, downvoting links to the community wiki, and using bots to keep Fextralife on top while throwing more things that compete with them into the garbage, flushing that shit right down the toilet. And this isn't the first time they've been accused of using bots for similar purposes. A while back, the Dark Souls community also had some very strong accusations against Fextralife for other manipulative tactics used by them on the community posts and subreddit. So Fextralife is just negatively viewed by pretty much everyone, even outside of just the quality of their wiki pages. Also heavily criticized for the way they conduct themselves and the way they try and keep Fextralife on top, artificially, supposedly. Now, the Fextralife owner has responded to all of the conversation and hoopla going on right now about them. The biggest one, and the one that I'm mainly going to be focused on, is the cooking of the books with their Twitch numbers. That's a big topic that's been around for many years, and they do talk about this here. But just to piggyback on the back of this Reddit accusation, they're coming forward and saying that, nope, that's a bunch of horseradish. Not real, not true, that's not us. We didn't use bots, and in fact, they even said, I didn't know Reddit bots were a thing, which is complete hogwash. What do you mean you didn't know Reddit bots were a thing? Yes, you did. Everybody knows that. It's totally fine to come defend yourself against the accusations and point out, logical inconsistencies or the evidence isn't strong enough. But why tell a bold-faced lie like that in your defense? I'm so innocent, I've never even heard of bots, I think you called them. The only bot I know is the Autobots. We don't even know what this is. We're so innocent. That's the weirdest defense attempt. Why would you say that? Bots are a thing on every platform everywhere, and everyone knows it. Bots are a thing on Twitch as well, which Fextralife is no stranger to, since Fextralife is basically botting all of their Twitch viewer numbers thanks to their embedding video practice that they use. I'm sure bots isn't the preferred nomenclature for Fextralife when it comes to their viewer numbers. They might use something a little more bubbly, a little more PR friendly, like less than sentient spectators, or perhaps blissfully unaware viewers of the Fextralife stream. But this has been a controversial hot topic for quite a few years now. This comes up at least once or twice a year. If you have ever gone on Twitch during a new big game release, within the first or second on that page is Fextralife. They have an average of 30k viewers when a game is new, and if they're playing an older game, they'll still average 10k plus. But if you ever click on their stream, you're gonna smell something a little fishy in there. It gets a bit stinky in the swamp, because there is no chat activity. Maybe 2 or 3 people chatting to each other in a 30,000 person stream, which is very odd. 30k is huge. They are among one of the biggest channels when it comes to concurrent viewers, at least when new games are present, and no one's talking. 30,000 viewers on their stream, but their chat is a goddamn ghost town. It's an absolute barren wasteland. You'd find more life in Chernobyl than you would in a Fextralife 30,000 plus viewer stream. So how is that possible? It has to do with a very controversial practice they engage in called embedding, where they embed their Twitch stream on their wiki site. And not just on the front page, on every single page of their site. So, let's say you open the Elden Ring Fextralife page. You'll see that the stream is in the top left. They're currently offline as of me making this video, but when they're online, it would be right there. And now let's say you want to go deeper, you're looking at build guides or something. If you go to one of those pages, the stream is also embedded there. It's on every single page of Fextralife, their stream is embedded, meaning no matter where you go, you will count as a viewer for their Twitch stream.
Sitting here, 30,000 viewers. The chat slower than fucking a 200 viewer streamer. This is pathetic. Twitch doesn't give a fuck, yeah. And that's the thing, is how are we really gonna get mad at them? They're just playing the game. They're not breaking any rules. So as you can see right here, inside of their wiki here, they have the stream embedded in this tiny little box. And this tiny little box here is why they have 31,000 viewers.
Now, I have seen conflicting reports where if you open multiple Fextralife tabs, you will count as multiple viewers since it's embedded on each one, but I haven't seen 100% concrete confirmation that that's how Twitch would calculate that, but there is a bit of evidence to suggest that it might. So I just want to put that out there as a possibility. Take it with a grain of salt. That is something that's been being discussed as well, because since it is embedded on every page, a lot of people like me open many tabs, so I might have 3 different Fextralife tabs open, and that's 3 different embed sources. So I guess it could count as 3, but again, I'm not sure 100% if that's true. But what is true is you do count as a viewer. when you are on Fextralife, no matter what page you're on. You are absolutely not watching the stream. I have no doubt anyone's... There is literally zero sentient human beings with a fucking pulse that are watching the Fextralife stream on the Fextralife website, because it's a tiny little box that just hides away in the top left, and no one's going to be watching it on that. It'd be like watching it on a Game Boy Color. Like, it's fucking worthless. No one's doing that. It's there just to gamify those numbers and pump that shit up. Like, absolutely skyrocket their viewership numbers on Twitch while adding no real organic viewers to it, and obviously no one in the chat. Now, another thing, most people, like me, will keep these tabs open for a long period of time. So even if Fextralife's offline right now, if I just keep this tab open, when they go online, I'm counted as a viewer even if I'm not home. Like, even if I forget the tab's open, I'm still counted in their viewership numbers. And to prove just how prevalent this is with viewers that are just accidentally watching Fextralife because they have the tab open somewhere, a streamer named Quinn went into their offline stream after Fextralife had concluded and just did a command that showed how many viewers were still there even though the stream wasn't going on. Now, this is something that does exist on normal Twitch streams with normal people watching them. There is something called like an offline community where if a streamer goes offline, there's pockets of people that'll hang around and just talk to each other in the offline chat, but not very many. It's a small number compared to the overall viewership. But for Fextralife, it's almost their entire fucking viewership is still in their stream even when they're offline. Meaning, it's just people that have a Fextralife wiki tab opened somewhere, not actually a viewer of their stream.
Surely my anguish and despair will ring on someone's ear.
23,000 current chatters. Okay, dude. All right, I'm a day streamer, boys. I guess this is what a 23,000 person chat looks like, guys. It's not a... You're disgusting if you insinuate that there's not 23,642 people right here, right now. You are fucking disgusting for implying that these are view bots and they're not actually there. Okay? Literally 23,000 people in his offline chat. Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty outrageous. So the offline chat was over 23,000 current chatters. So meaning that's 23,000 people in the stream right there, and not a single message. And also, there's no such thing as an offline chat that has 23,000 people in it. Not even the biggest streamers in the world have anywhere close to that as an offline chat number. That is people that are just on the Fextralife wiki with tabs open. They're not actually watching the Fextralife streams. It's fucking ridiculous. Now, it is important to note, Fextralife is not the only stream that takes advantage of this embed protocol. Like, they're not the only ones that employ this tactic, but they are the ones that are the most egregious because they paste it on every single page on their wiki, and there's tons of pages you can't avoid it. And obviously, whatever they're streaming isn't going to be relevant to every single page on their wiki site. It's people that aren't actually watching the stream. It is no different, really, than viewbotting, which is an argument people have been making for years. And naturally, this discussion always inevitably ends up with asking the question, why doesn't Twitch stop it? And the answer's super simple. Why the fuck would they? This only helps Twitch. These big numbers are great for Twitch. This looks fantastic for them. There is no downside to allowing streamers to embed their streams everywhere else. It's a free advertisement for Twitch, free numbers that help everything on their platform. Like, Twitch has no incentive to shut that down at all. Even though it's very clear that 23,642 people aren't actually in the Fextralife offline chat or watching their streams, it doesn't matter, because it only serves to help Twitch. So why would they put the kibosh on something like that? They allow it, and Fextralife isn't breaking any rules. A lot of people have said, don't hate the player, hate the game, and they're kind of right. Fextralife is not breaking any rules. They are legally viewbotting their streams, and have been for a very long time, proudly. So this has obviously been controversial for a while, because, as you might imagine, this doesn't help other streamers, because Fextralife will always take either the number 1 spot or the number 2 spot in a brand new game release, and they're not actually having people watch them. It's fake, phony numbers because of the way they embed their streams on their site. So it takes those spots away from streamers that deserve it more, who actually do have communities that watch their streams. They no longer have those slots that Fextralife takes up. So obviously it makes a lot of streamers, when a new game comes out, mad because they can't compete with Fextralife viewbotting fundamentally. It's been that way for a long time, and I don't see it changing, but a lot of people are talking about it again, so I thought it'd be an interesting topic to discuss again, especially considering this time around the owner has spoken about it. So this is their response to all of the viewbotting allegations. They state that a viewbot is when you use artificial and non-existing browsers to inflate views on Twitch, and that does try to fool advertisers because A, it plays an ad, and B, nobody is watching. Real quick before continuing, they're getting a bit lost in semantics here as opposed to making real arguments on how what they're doing is different. Fextralife streams often have sponsors, and sometimes very big sponsors. I imagine they sell their streams with their concurrent viewer average, which is like between 10 and 30,000 viewers. It's huge. But most companies probably aren't going to really look into that, so they're going to assume their ad is being seen by 10 to 30,000 people. It's not. As is very clearly illustrated, 23,000 of those people aren't actually even in the stream. They're on Fextralife with the stream pulled up muted in some tab, not even aware that it's going on. So these companies aren't actually getting their ads placed in front of 30,000 viewers. They're getting it placed in front of, I have no idea, maybe a few hundred, maybe 1,000. There's really no way of knowing, because there's no real activity in their stream to judge it on or anything remotely like that. So it really isn't different than a viewbot. When you do play an ad on Fextralife, nobody is watching. Same way as if you would play an ad during a stream that is just completely viewbotted in the traditional sense. Nobody is watching the Fextralife ad that the company has paid for, even though there's 30,000 viewers. I would love to see the back end of a return on a Fextralife sponsorship, because I imagine it has to be unbelievably low since most of the viewers are from the embedded Twitch streams. So it is misleading to advertisers, which is another criticism a lot of people have put forth, and I think it's very valid to say that, because again, most of the viewers are not actually watching the Fextralife stream. They then say embedding is an advertisement of the stream to real people on real browsers on an external website. Like any integration, the objective is to get people to click and go to Twitch. No advertisements are played on the embedded unit, generating zero revenue. Embeds are part of the intended code of Twitch and are intentional features that anyone can use, and many content creators besides us do. These are real people that we have worked tirelessly to build up into our community. What community? You tirelessly built up an imaginary community. The Fextralife community you refer to is more made up than the Tooth Fairy. There is nobody in your Twitch streams. Nobody. Like, I can't tell if they're being intentionally delusional here, or if they actually think that what they're doing is somehow totally, the same as just building up a normal community. It's not. Your embedded Twitch streams are not driving your Fextralife wiki readers to your Twitch stream. There is no call to action to it that I've ever seen. It just automatically is playing whenever you're on any page on Fextralife. How the fuck can you possibly make an argument saying that what you're doing is just an advertisement to get those people on your wiki to the streams? Because it's not. The streams aren't even relevant to what your readers are reading. What's being streamed is completely separate from whatever they're on your site to read about. There's no chance that the two could even connect most of the time, unless of course it is a new release like Armored Core. Then I'm sure there is some crossover where someone went to Armored Core, Fextralife, got some bad information, but saw you were streaming and was like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. That's possible, but that's clearly not the goal. If that was the goal, you would only embed your streams on the newest releases because they'd be relevant to each other, as opposed to just having it embedded on every single page where it makes no sense. Why would an Armored Core 6 Fextralife stream be playing on my Dark Souls 3 Fextralife wiki? And how the fuck would you possibly think that I'm on Dark Souls 3 wiki but might want to watch Fextralife streaming Armored Core 6? It's just, that is a nonsensical statement to try and say that your embeds are only there to try and get people from your actual wiki to your streams. That's not the goal. The goal is just to artificially inflate your numbers because it's automatically playing and they count as viewers. What embedding does for me is make my website audience aware I'm a person, I'm streaming, and I can show them games that I think they'd be interested in. Again, that argument doesn't work when the website is all about game information. It's not a personality-driven site. They're not going to Fextralife hoping that they'll see that Fextralife is also live on Twitch. They're going there because they're looking for guides and information on the game that they are currently playing. That doesn't make any sense. What embedding does for Twitch is give them free advertising for their platform and an ongoing conversion from our website to Twitch. These new people were not on Twitch otherwise, and they're still not on Twitch. They're not going there. They're not going to Twitch. You can tell because there's no one in your chat. I don't know why they keep trying to say that. Like, yes, it is a free advertisement for Twitch. It's free numbers for their metrics, absolutely. But they're not actually getting new people to Twitch that weren't already endemic to Twitch. Like, they're not bringing new viewers there. They're just idly on the Fextralife wiki, and it counts as a view on Twitch. And then they say they hopefully come back and become part of the Twitch ecosystem. It doesn't happen. Our embed is by no means a secret. It's very visible. In fact, it's the best possible spot on our website, and there's even a command for it on our channel. And as part of the channel rules, the idea that it's a fraud is also absurd. Our sponsors are aware of the embed, and it's a great deal for them to be able to promote their content on both Twitch and to our site users at the same time, particularly in the prime location that the embed has on our website. So this is very interesting to me. The sponsors are aware of the embedding. That's great. Are they also aware that the vast majority of your Twitch metrics come from that embedding? And are they also aware that that means it's muted? That means that their sponsorship package, the ad read, all of it, the vast majority of those numbers that it's being put in front of aren't even aware it's going on because it's muted and it's not visible. It's a very tiny box. Do the sponsors know that? I certainly hope so, because that would be very shady if you didn't make the sponsors aware that their ad read is going to be muted for the vast majority of the audience, and it's not going to be seen by them either because the box is too small and the viewers aren't actually on Twitch. I would hope you'd make them very well aware of all of the shortcomings of doing an ad with Fextralife, since most of the viewer numbers come from a fucking tiny embed on a completely separate site that, again, is also muted. So hopefully you have made all of your partners aware of that. The owner does continue going on to other criticisms people have put forth against Fextralife, such as like AI-driven content or it being lazy, stuff like that. But that wasn't the focus of what I wanted to talk about today. The statement is still very much up if you want to see how they defend themselves against other claims. But these were the main things I wanted to talk about in regards to this situation, because this is a conversation that comes up at least once or twice a year. And it is a very interesting one about embedding, view botting. It is an interesting topic that I just wanted to talk about a bit, since a lot of other people are also discussing it, and I think it's something worth going over. So that's really about it. So yeah. The day before devs got a Kickstarter going. Do they really? Thanks, membership bean. Anyone who donates money to them should be studied, like actually studied. They blatantly got scammed by the devs before. The day before devs return, reveal new game asking for a second chance. Day before developer returns from the dead and asks for a second chance. From now on, our development and marketing will be based on the principle of honesty. Brother, just give up. Go home. This isn't anime. You scammed so many people. Blatantly scammed so many people. Just take your money that you made from it and walk away. Well, actually, no, you know what? I bet there is a not super small number of gamers who are probably going to be like, no, I saw the potential. These devs have got it. They're going to make a hit game. I'll give them $50. So they're smart to keep exploiting that, I guess. There were people unironically defending the day before. Some of you might remember that. Saying like, it's just came out. We have to give them some time to let it really cook. And I think it's a great start. This game's going to be one of the biggest games ever once they really get the next couple of updates and patches rolled out. There is no community that's more easily exploitable than gamers. Devs do it all the fucking time. Let's check that Kickstarter. How much is it raised? $215. Cool. Let's see. I don't want to get DMCA'd. They probably just stole that music. They're making a little party game. These are all the rage right now. This could be the one. They could overthrow Fall Guys and Stumble Guys with this one. Once you helped us create Fantastic through Kickstarter. Is that how it started? Man, I bet every backer really regrets that. They created a fucking villain. They created evil. It's like when they opened the sarcophagus to Emotep and brought it back to life. We sincerely apologize for everything that happened and are committed to making things right. We invite you to take a look at our plan, Fantastic 2.0, where we will share how we'll fix our past mistakes and are preparing to return better. Let's see.
Download the plan PDF. I'm not doing that. You are probably going to install a crypto miner. I am not doing that at all. Why can't you just put it in plain text here? Why do I have to download your fucking PDF? I don't trust you even slightly. How about FAQ? We reflected on our past mistakes and initiated significant internal changes to drive radical improvement, discontinued the practice of involving external volunteers, and are now fully committed to a more professional approach. Honesty, transparency, and community engagement have become our top priorities. Having learned from our past mistakes, we've developed Fantastic 2.0, a plan for recovery. I'm not reading your plan. I'm not fucking downloading it. Just put it on your site somewhere. How do you plan to avoid past mistakes, and what specific steps have you taken to improve communication? It's not man, it is not just a communication problem. You lied about what game you were making. The game didn't exist for the longest time, and then you ended up just dropping an asset flip in an entirely different genre after taking so many people's money. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It has nothing to do with communication. You're fraudsters. We're committed to honest marketing, actively engaging with the community through Discord, releasing development progress reports, and conducting beta tests before official launch. All of these steps are outlined in Fantastic 2.0. I am so tired that they keep linking this and referring to it. There's something very sinister there that they want you to download, and it's not a PDF file. That's going to be something else. Has the team at Fantastic changed? I don't know why I couldn't read that. Our team has become smaller, but it still consists of the same people who created all our previous games. Well, I'm super out then. Some team members are helping out on a goodwill basis. Oh my god, you're not even paying them. Some are juggling other jobs and some are working only in the evenings. You're not even paying your employees. Oh my god. That's a crime. What? They're not even paying them. And they just, hey, you know what? Maybe they are being more transparent and honest. Yeah, so we're not paying these guys. Can you believe it? Please fund our Kickstarter. It's not a crime. They're getting exposure. You're so fucking right. That is so true. I forgot all about the exposure dollars. Why is this even in the FAQs? Who would you like to thank? Who would ever ask that? Hey, devs at Fantastic, burning question. Who do you guys want to express some gratitude towards? What is this garbage? Holy. Thanks, Fantastic. Well, I've got a sneaking suspicion this will hit its goal. Gamers do not care. They get blatantly scammed time and time and time again, but they will keep investing in the scams. Cute character design, though, like the Flukes Fluglies. That's some Spy Kids shit right there, the thumb people. Make a pledge without a reward. Yeah, let me do that. What a great deal that is. Help Fantastic return for $3. You will receive our heartfelt thanks, a special mention on the supporters wall on our website, and an exclusive backer role in the Discord server. One backer. Cool. $20, you get the game. Oh, you don't even get the game for this. I didn't even register that. Cool. $20. You get a digital copy of the game for PC, along with an exclusive role in the Discord. Additionally, your name will be featured on the supporter wall. $35. Get 2 digital copies of the game for PC, one for you and one to share. Both of you will receive exclusive roles on the community Discord. Digital Game Plus Back to Win t-shirt. Digital copy of the game for $45. Digital copy of the game for PC along with the exclusive Back to Win limited t-shirt. You'll also receive special role. I have a feeling that shirt's never going to come, but let me see. I'll assume that it's a banger of a shirt. 65 clams, 4 digital copies of the game, one for you and 3 friends. And then you get the shirt in the Discord. 75, you get... Wait, whoa. Wait, for $75 you don't even get the 4 copies here? You get a copy along with the hoodie. That's just worse value. $80, you get 8 digital copies and the hoodie and the shirt. $200, you get 1 copy and your name is featured in the game credits as a special supporter. You should get bullied for that. You should actually get bullied for that. If your name is in the credits of this fucking game as a special supporter, you deserve to be spit on and wedgied. And then you get your shirt and hoodie. Jesus, it keeps going. $500. Copy the game and recognized as an executive backer with prominent mention in game credits, as well as your shirt and hoodie. It's the same thing. You're $300 for the same thing. You just gave it a different name. Executive versus special. God, another $1,000. Limited edition signature collection. Showcase your dedication to Fantastic's return. Oh, it's like a cult. Digital copy of the game, the hoodie, the shirt, and a dad hat. And then you get the elite backer roll and name and credits. Cool. It keeps going. Holy shit, $2,000. Make your mark on Escape Factory. Your name will be featured on a prominent board within one of the in-game locations. And a copy of the game. And then your fucking swag. Your hat, hoodie, and shirt. $3,000. You join the development team. They refuse to pay their employees, but you can pay to be part of their team if you want. $3,000. Join our team. You collaborate with us in designing an in-game location and work closely with our artists to bring their custom monster to life. That's so fucking adorable. Holy. Pay $3,000 to do their work for them for free. Another tier. $5,000. Get your own in-game exclusive pet that will follow you wherever you go, making your adventure more unique. And then you get all your swag and shit. Oh, and a special video message. I keep forgetting about that. I bet that's a banger. $12,000. Enjoy an unforgettable dinner with the founders of Fantastic. Also, you're going to pay for dinner. You're going to pay $12,000 for the privilege of going to dinner with them and then paying for their dinner. I promise. I guarantee they're not covering your meal. Oh, and you're going to pay for your own flight out there, by the way. Dinner with them, $12,000, huh? Cool. What value? What fucking value? You don't even get the swag with it? Do you not? I didn't even read the rest. I assumed you did. Oh my god, you don't even get the dad hat, the hoodie, the shirt, or anything? Do you not even get to make your own custom monster either? $12,000 is actually just a dinner. You're literally just getting a dinner. Oh my god. Where do I sign up? Oh, there's a comment here. Escape Factory, let's go. Oh, it's Michael Superpacker. He's in the stream. Hey, Michael. It's crazy. Like, what? How are you here? It's like he smells when I'm looking at Kickstarter. This is the Air Umbrella Michael Superbacker. That's actually unbelievable. What a fucking legend. This dude's got some kind of like worm on my computer where he searches, like he's able to get notified whenever I touch Kickstarter. He just spent $12K on it. No, I think he probably did it. Yeah, he did like $1. He actually did a single dollar. Went from $2.17 to $2.18 just so he could leave this comment. Well, that was interesting. I'm going to check back on this in like 5 hours, and hopefully that number's either gone down or not changed. This dev team should not be able to stay in business. They are scammers. Legitimate scammers.